Hello everyone, you're very welcome to our channel narcscon with myself and Remy, where we talk about narcissists and everything to do with them so that we can make it possible to heal with a greater understanding of what we've been through and protect ourselves going forward in relation to this personality disorder. So today I'm going to cover everything I possibly can in relation to narcissists hoovering and answer the question, will the narcissist hoover me? I really feel that this knowledge, I'm hoping, will help somebody resist a hoover and resist further destruction and protect somebody out there. At the end of the podcast, I'm going to get into a few announcements about going live with dates, etc., and talk about the channel membership again. So if you want to hang on to the end, that'd be great. And let's get into the content now. Some people don't want to hear too much housekeeping, so to speak. They just want the information, and that's very understandable. So for anybody that's going, Hoover, what do you mean Hoover? Hoovering is what the narcissist does as part of their behaviour cycle. And the definition of hoovering and why it was called that would be a narcissist will try and suck somebody back into the relationship with them in some shape, way or form so that they can continue to make use of you, to extract narcissistic supply, so to speak. That's basically what hoovering is, and it's called hoovering because they literally suck you back in using manipulations against you, and you think it's, oh my goodness, you know, the narcissist really loves me, they missed me, and you know they're what they're saying rings true and they want to try again, etc., and all the tactics they use to hoover a person in. And unfortunately people fall for it because they don't know what a narcissist is, and they don't know that this is just a technique for the narcissist to continue to regulate themselves against you emotionally and to maybe come back for what they impulsively left you without taking with them. So they may even hoover you to come back and have a further or a firmer foot in your property, or to take part of your business, or to come back and just simply hold up with you for the winter so that they can mooch around for somebody who hasn't tasted their destructive behaviour as yet, that they can pull into a relationship with them and monkey branch onto. So the hoover is always about the narcissist looking after themselves. It's nothing about who you were. It's what you could do for the narcissist. When I was thinking about this particular podcast and how important it actually is, and the fact that I think nearly all of us, particularly those of us in having experienced a romantic relationship with the narcissist, often wonder, will I be hoovered by the narcissist, as they say in these communities? And if I'm not hoovered, so to speak, does that mean that the person wasn't a narcissist, or that I'm not good enough for the narcissist to hoover? And having gone through this, I know those are the questions you would be asking yourself, because those are the questions I asked myself. So at least they'd be something of a similar nature depending on your situation. The hoover is never about how good you were as a person, or you as a person, or your spirit. It's always about what you can do for the narcissist. And it's the same with everybody. They don't differentiate between human beings. So just to make that clear, because some people would take a lot of validation from being hoovered. And although that is terribly understandable, the validation you take from a narcissist hoovering is the exact opposite of what it actually should be. Because if you get validated, and I know I got validated by it, so this isn't a judgment, but if you're getting validated by a narcissist hoovering, it means you still believe that the narcissist has value as a person, and you're still believing in the narcissist's mask. And you're still believing that somebody else's opinion of your value is your value. And that's a really important part of healing, to take back your self-value, because the narcissist has worked at breaking that down and making themselves, by isolating you and by grooming you and all those things they do, making them your validator. So, as I was saying, I was thinking about, you can talk about the definition of hoovering. You can, discuss the different ways the narcissist hoovers, and I have a big list of all the different hoovering things or hoovering types or styles the narcissist can and will go into. But I would really like to explain that hoovering is part of a narcissist's life. And I'm not talking about vacuuming. I wish it was, because they don't tend to like the service industry work that much. Anyway, that's a little aside. Basically, the narcissist has cycles of behavior going on all at different stages. So while they're with one person or supply source, they have another in the background, another X who's on a part of the cycle. And they will be looking towards the future to see if there's anyone better out there that they may be assessing. And that'll be the start of a third cycle. And hoovering is always part of the narcissist's behavior cycle. The way traditionally psychologists have it laid out is love bombing, discard, hoover, and love bombing. And it continues like that with people as long as somebody else allows it, as long as you or I allow it. Because it's always the other person that will stop the narcissist from taking advantage of them and cease that cycle, or cease being on the narcissist's wheel of supply. So I would say to you that hoovering actually starts and overlaps the love bombing stage. Because love bombing itself is not the normal start to a relationship that you would expect. It's not genuine. There's nothing genuine about it. It's literally the narcissist assessing how they can best hook you in and what they can use, what bait they can use in order to do that. What position they need to put you in, how they need to isolate you, or what they need to reach in you, what they need to validate in you, how can they make you feel good and feel so good that you really attach to them very strongly and very quickly. That's not normal. That's what I call sucking a person in. So that's where I believe the hoovering actually starts, and it totally overlaps what you call when the cycle goes from love bomb, discard, hoover, and then back to love bomb. I believe it starts at the very beginning of the relationship. Then you'll get, let's say, the trajectory of the hoover. The hoover is always switched on and switched off. And that's what we call the push-pull in a relationship with a narcissist. After this seemingly stable period of love bombing, where the narcissist doesn't want you to cop on to the fact that they're not who they say they are, they will do the control tester, which is what I call it, when they will pull back, maybe at the 2-month stage or the 3-month stage, to give you a little test to see how upset you are when they pull back. They may not respond in the way they normally do. They may not respond to a text message the way they normally do. They may not send you your morning text message if you're not living with them. And they set up a habitual thing that you expect from them. So it can be as minor as that little push-pull to check how involved you are with them or how upset you would be not to receive that text message, for instance. And then when they see your response, they'll hoover you back in to the relationship. So they're always at it in one way or another. The next part of let's say the escalation of hoovering is when you'd have an argument with the narcissist, when, again, they want to do a bigger control test on you to see where you're at in the relationship. That's when the devaluation starts. And then the makeup from the argument or whatever you experience, they'll hoover you back in. And you can say, well, Paula, that happens in all relationships. With the narcissist, it's fake. It's a hoovering you back into the relationship without having any feelings for you, but feeling empowered and in control over you, so that when they get you back after the argument, you are subdued into knowing that you can't argue like that again with them, or you will experience maybe the silent treatment or some technique that they will use that has really upset you. So that's why I say it's not a genuine argument. It's a push and it's a pull, and it's a pull for control, and it's a pull for subduing you and your self-esteem and your what you feel is important in life, to subdue you into submission to the narcissist. The next hoovering that I feel occurs in the relationship with the narcissist is when you start to experience mini discards. And a mini discard is the forerunner of the what they call final discard, but a discard is never final with a narcissist. Not if you have some fuel left in you. Not if you're willing to have the narcissist back at some stage. It's all about you have the power. Like, people take a long time to understand, because the narcissist manipulates you into thinking that they're the one in charge, that they're the one that's going to leave you, that they're the one that's superior to you. It's a form of brainwashing. It is literally a form of brainwashing. But they always need you. And you don't always need them, even if you feel you do, because they have you practically addicted to them and brainwashed to believing that they are who they say they are. So the mini discards are the forerunner of the big discard. Let's call it the big discard. And again, it's just a grooming technique. It's to bring you more under control. But at the mini discard, if you're quite upset by that and you kind of are pulling away from the narcissist, they will attempt to re-engage into the relationship by a pleasant hoovering technique, by telling you they love you and it's going to be great and future faking, etc., etc. Or they'll hoover you back in with a controlled measure. Like, we should restart the relationship, but you're going to have to be better. You're going to have to not do that. I didn't like you telling me that I couldn't be out till 4 a.m. because it upset you. So don't do that again. We have a great relationship. You just need to not do that. And that's actually a hoover. That's a manipulation. That's a control technique. So we're really getting into the growth of the classic hoover, which is when there's been a space between you and the narcissist in the relationship. And the relationship, there's the big discard, and the relationship appears to be over. And we're going to get into that. That's how it begins. That's how the hoover begins, just going back to my points. So we're going to go on to the third point now in a minute, and that's why people think they won't be hoovered. But that's the start of the life of the hoover, in my humble opinion. People think they won't be hoovered because we are thinking from a normal mindset, a normal human mindset. So we tend to believe the narcissist when the narcissist is going out the door saying, I never want to see you again. You're the spawn of the devil. You're the worst person anybody could have a relationship with. You're crazy. You're an alco. You're a loser. You just made me so unhappy. You are the pits of the pits of the pits of the coal pit. Leave in the comments what the narcissist said to you as they were going out the door. And it is convincing enough for a normal human being to think, well, I'm not going to see them again anytime soon. They don't really like me, as an understatement. And apologies for the sarcasm. It's just that when you understand at the other side of the fence that this is crazy daisy stuff, that although they firmly believe that they hate you when they leave, that all changes when the next person comes along, the new supply, and they start to hate the new supply. You start to look rosy and shiny again. And this happens all the time. They're on this crazy behaviour cycle wheel that they can't get off, or they don't want to get off. When you really, really understand what's going on with this personality disordered person, or dark energy attachment controlling this human being, whatever way you'd like to look at it, and you're entitled to look at it any way you like, you won't be, one, pulled in by the Hoover, and two, as distraught as you have been at the ending of the relationship with a narcissist. And it'll give you the courage and the oomph to go forward and really live your life to the full and never go down that path again with one of these creatures. So people don't think they're going to be hoovered by the narcissist. One, because of the way they leave, the narcissist leaves. And two, because people can get restraining orders out against narcissists. You know, they can go to court against the narcissist. They can be divorced from the narcissist. They can have won a legal battle against the narcissist and think, I'm never going to see them again. Those things matter not to narcissists. Well, having said that, let me qualify that. They matter not if the narcissist needs something from you. Then that is obliterated, or the reality of that is changed by the narcissist to suit the new narrative. It may make them less inclined to put you as the first choice to hoover, but needs must. Needs must. Now we're going to get into the types of hoover, and I think some of these might make you go, really? That's a hoover? So I think this is good to be prepared, because a lot of the time people think of the narcissist hoovering as a total classic, like as the relationship being over, 6 months having passed, and the narcissist looking to come back into the relationship. And that is a direct hoover from the narcissist, and it is easier to identify, and it's obvious what it is. But there are so many other types of hoovers that you may dismiss and think, oh, that was nothing. These, my friends, are what I would consider hoovers from the narcissist, and they are very common. But you don't know what's happening with other people unless you get on these channels and understand, oh, a lot of people are experiencing this, and they're calling it a hoover, and that's what happened with me. So let's get into this and see if this information is going to save you from going back to a narcissist. Okay, the types of hoover, we've kind of gone over this already. It's the present hoover, or the preventative hoover, when the narcissist is in a relationship with someone and that person is beginning to see the light and is beginning to understand that this relationship is not only not benefiting them, it's having a disastrous effect on their health, their well-being, their financial resources and everything, their peace of mind, their relationships with their families. Interesting if we could do a video maybe on, you know, what does a relationship with a narcissist actually bring you? So if that person is thinking of and making moves to leave the relationship and the narcissist understands this, that's not going to be allowed. You are not allowed to reject the narcissist, because that affects their whole mask and their whole feeling of being in control and their whole feeling of being superior and omnipotent. So they will prevent you from leaving them. They will do everything they possibly can. And as I've covered in some recent videos, the weird behaviours of narcissists, I'll try and link it. They will say that they are terminally ill. They'll say they've just lost their job. They'll say whatever they need to say to make you feel, oh, I can't possibly humanly leave this person at this particular given time. And then they'll work on re-love bombing you. And then they'll leave you. That's the preventative present Hoover. So that is a Hoover. It's not when the narcissist has left. When you're thinking of leaving, you will be hoovered to stay in the relationship. Unless they have a new supply lined up and they're pushing you to leave the relationship. So just mark that one there. The second Hoover I consider, and this isn't really called, I don't think this has actually been called out before, but in my opinion, this is a Hoover, and I call it the Triangulation Hoover. And that is, again, when the narcissist, they want you back to your former self, back to full supply pump. So you may have waned a bit and thought, hey, you know, I'd really like to do something for myself. Like, I'd like to go to the gym, or I'd like to buy something for myself. I haven't done anything like that for a very long time. And you're going to start to look after yourself, or you're going to see some relations you haven't seen in a long time because the narcissist has tried to isolate you from them. So the narcissist wants to hoover you back to maximum output. So what they will do is the triangulation Hoover, in that they will start to mention their ex quite a good bit, or they'll start to point out people they find attractive on the street, or they'll start to say, that TV presenter is pretty attractive. You know, that's the type of person I'm attracted to. I know you know the score, guys. And give me an example if you've had the triangulation Hoover, which is to make you jealous enough to start to really engage with the narcissist again. Again, a present Hoover. One you might not think about, because I suppose it's covered more in the triangulation manipulation. But it is essentially a means of getting you to put out and stay with the narcissist, sucking you back up to maximum supply output. Number 3 is the mini discard. We've covered that already. The mini discard is to discard you to think that this is it, the relationship's over, and them to hoover you back in, to bring you back more under control. Number 4, now this is a Hoover after the narcissist has done the big discard. And people have mentioned this recently, actually, and sent me emails or left comments and said, why would the narcissist do this? So the narcissist has gone off on their donkey, and they've gone off to find somebody else to suck supply out of. And they usually, and people may not know this either, leave one avenue of communication open. They may block you on various things, but they usually leave one avenue of communication open because they want your supply. They want to see you for loads of different reasons, contacting them, reaching out to them, asking them questions, so they can either show the new supply, look at my crazy ex, or just to know that you're still under control and you're still available for a feed if they so require. I hope this isn't too graphic. I'm just trying to use analogies for exactly what they do. So they may have left this avenue open. It may have been open, this method, email or WhatsApp or whatever, left it open to you for 4 to 6 months, even a year. And you have not contacted them on that avenue. But you've noticed it's open, because we don't just kind of go, we're not narcissists. We're still engaged. We're still grieving the relationship with the narcissist. We're still not unattached. This was a human relationship to us. This meant something to us. So we don't just recover and go off and start a new relationship like the narcissist does. That is inhuman. So they then block you on that avenue, maybe a year later. And you look and you see, why at this stage would the narcissist block me? That's a Hoover, my friend. That's a Hoover. In general, that's a Hoover. It's to get you thinking about the narcissist again. It can be to soften you up, to prepare you, to trigger you. I see somebody's doing acrobatics there in the background. Sorry for interrupting. You can see things when you're filming. You can see things in the background. It's either to soften you up for a possible Hoover or to get you to reach out to the narcissist. The narcissist is going, for God's sake, it's a year and they still haven't reached out. Subconsciously. Well, I'll delete them. And they think, they're happy because they're taking control. They're deleting you. See how they like that is the thought process of the narcissist. Or if they have a new supply, they definitely don't want you reaching out, or they may want you reaching out. But it's because you matter at this point to the narcissist. And if you've any further information on where the narcissist is at, you can generally piece together why they then deleted you. But it's a Hoover. So if you have questions around why the heck the narcissist did that, that would be my response to you. It's a Hoover. I think this is number 5. You get the third party Hoover, the Hoover by proxy. Somebody you and the narcissist know happens to bump into you even though they live in another state. And they happen to be walking down the same street that you walk down every day. Oh, hello. Oh, how are you? Well, I haven't seen you for a year. How are you doing? Oh, great. Well, I met your ex. Oh, did you? And they give you news about the ex and they gather information on you. That's a third party Hoover. It's information gathering. It's to see what you have to say about the narcissist. It's to see, would you be potentially easy to Hoover? It's to put the narcissist in your mind and other reasons. But for the purposes of this podcast, as time is going on, let's get into the next Hoover type. This, my friends, is totally typical of the narcissist leaving you. They will leave things behind. They will leave something behind in your house or in your apartment. This is not by chance. They all do this. It's unbelievable. Whether they think it is some type of entitlement to leave something in your house, they feel, well, I think it is. They feel like they own you, so they can do that. You're one of their ports of call for supply. Remy, what are you doing? Sorry, they're one of your ports of call. You're one of their ports of call, rather, of supply. But they leave in the comments again. They always do this. They leave something behind. So they can come back at any stage as an excuse. You've got it. And Hoover. Oh, I left my special toothpaste behind. I left my shovel behind. I left that USB behind and it's behind the bread bin. Oh, thanks so much for keeping it for me. And how have you been? 7. The cry for help Hoover. They will either put themselves in a dire situation, and they often end up in dire situations anyway when they leave you, because they leave on impulse. They often don't think through their decisions to leave a good situation, and we've covered that in podcasts. So they'll either directly cry to you for help, or they'll put it on social media, or they let one of their relatives know who would know you. Again, kind of third party Hoover, but in a type of a way that you would feel very sorry for them. So a disaster Hoover, let's call it the disaster Hoover and the cry for help. And then we come to the biggie. Then we come to the classic one that we all know, and that is the direct Hoover. They contact you via text or phone you or up to your house or call to your work, wherever they think they can get you. And, you know, don't underestimate the power of this, because you can feel very solid in your healing and you can have all the information on what a narcissist is. But when you see the human form, it's very discombobulating. And particularly when they mesmerize you with words, kind words, victim words, I'm not doing so well, how are you doing? A lot of that information can go out the window when all of the neural pathways that were laid down in your brain during the relationship with them start to kick in again and fire. And the rivers, you know, the rivers reform in your head. And it can be quite confusing. So do not underestimate the shocking power of seeing the narcissist in person. And I'm telling you, they know the power of seeing them in person. So if you can, avoid that at all costs. It puts you months back on your healing. If you have done that, you will recover faster, because you've laid down new neural pathways in your brain, so you can re-engage in them again faster. So you're not, 4 months set back. You are initially pulled right back in your healing, but you will incrementally recover faster, is what I'm saying. So don't lose hope just because you've seen this person in person. And another style of Hoover, you think that the direct Hoover is the last Hoover? No, it's not, actually. The other style of hoovering is the stalking type of Hoover. And I've another one after this that you might not have, put in the list naturally. The stalking Hoover is they're showing up everywhere. You're hearing about them everywhere. They're doing a really intense job of re-engaging with you. So they're pushing at you. They're trying to stimulate, trigger you, re-stimulate the neural pathways that were laid down, re-stimulate you missing them by being ever present in different places over weeks and months that follow maybe the direct Hoover if you've rejected it in particular, or just showing up and becoming a part of your life again, or even trying to instigate themselves in a different form in a relationship. The friend, let's be friends one is very dangerous. Or I can help you with the house. I can help you with the garden. We can just be friends. No. If they were your friend in the first place, they wouldn't have damaged you so much or attempted to. And they wouldn't have left you like that in such a cruel manner. That doesn't happen with friends. And then, of course, they will excuse it and say, I was in a bad way. My mental health was pretty bad at the time. And, that's why. Well, why didn't you say that at the time if you were a normal person and you loved me? People don't do those type of discards of other people that could have taken you out. So there's forgiveness and there's discerning forgiveness. Let's put it like that. You ain't my friend, mate. You ain't my friend. On that I'm clear. And I'm certainly not getting back into a relationship with you because you're not capable of having a human relationship that doesn't suck the other person of all their assets, energy, love, spirit, everything they are as a person. I will not be subjugated or internalized by you as part of you. I'm an individual person. And the last type of Hoover I have listed here, and I'll just get on to the announcements then. I see the videos being quite long here. This is a difficult one to deal with. This is when a narcissist tries to reinsert themselves into your new relationship by attacking it, or by contacting your new partner, or by contacting your family or you and accusing you of things They're trying to hoover you in a malign way so that your new relationship is destroyed, so that you're anxious, so that they're back in your mind again, so that maybe your new partner becomes insecure, unsecure, anxious, listening to the words of this malign narcissist that's making up lies about you and who you are. That's a Hoover, guys. So that's it on the Hoovers, and just quickly the announcements. We're doing a members live. That's people who are channel members, and if you want to join, there is a link in this podcast and also in the main channel description. We're going live this Easter Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT. That's Greenwich Mean Time. It's not +1, it's GMT itself. 4 p.m. We're going to do questions and answers. So if you're a channel member and you have a question you'd like answered on Sunday, leave that in the comments here. Or email me on narcscon@gmail.com. That's narcscon@gmail.com. We're then going to, on the channel membership section, read out my son's poem in relation to narcissism is not normal. The normalization of narcissism in society, and that it is not normal. I'm going to do that on Easter Monday, and it will be released to channel members in general at a later date. But for the membership section, that's being released on Easter Monday. And I will do a channel live, seeing as I get the hang of it now, a channel live on Friday next at 6 p.m. GMT. So that's a general live for the whole channel on next Friday at 6 p.m. I'll put those announcements on the community notice board. So let's go to the next stage of making our community. And thank you for people who've supported the channel and the work by joining the channel membership. And I hope to bring you some personal photos, of travels, and we'll do the questions and answers. And I'm going to start narrating parts of the book Weaponized Love for you, especially in that section. That's it for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Go well into the day or night and look after yourselves. Thank you.